Smoking, alcohol, and illicit drug use collectively kills over 11.8 million people each year. This is 1 in 5 deaths globally. But addiction doesn't always have to stem from substances like tobacco or alcohol. Behaviors such as gambling, gaming, social media use, porn, and even sex can turn out to be quite addictive. In fact, more addictive than some substances. Researchers carried out an experiment to test the willpower of 205 people aged 18 to 85 and found that most of them were more likely to give in to the urge to tweet or check their email than other cravings like lighting a cigarette or cracking open a cold can of beer. It is estimated that over 210 million people worldwide are addicted to social media, and an average individual spends around 2.5 hours daily on these platforms. And according to a 2019 study, approximately 11% of men and 3% of women self-reported having a porn addiction. But why do we become addicted to something? How does it affect our brain? And why is it so hard to quit? Is there a cure, or are we doomed to be slaves to our cravings? In this video, we'll explain all the science behind addiction. To understand how addiction affects the brain, we need to first understand how the brain normally works. The brain is composed of billions of nerve cells called neurons that communicate with each other through chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. When one neuron wants to send a message to another neuron, it releases a neurotransmitter into the tiny space between them called the synapse. The neurotransmitter then crosses the synapse and binds to the receptors on the other neuron, either exciting it and making it more likely to fire an electrical signal, or inhibiting it, making it less likely to fire. Different types of neurotransmitters therefore have different effects on our mood, behavior, and cognitive functions. For example, dopamine is often associated with pleasure and reward. When we encounter a rewarding stimulus such as a delicious food or a hug from a loved one, the reward system is activated and dopamine is released. This creates a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction that reinforces the behavior and makes us want to repeat it again. This is how we learn to associate certain stimuli with positive outcomes and form habits. However, when we use addictive substances or engage in addictive behaviors, the reward system is stimulated and triggers much more dopamine release than natural rewards, creating an intense rush of euphoria that overwhelms its normal functioning. This leads to changes in the brain that makes us crave more of the substance or behavior and less sensitive to natural rewards. These changes can be broadly categorized into 3 types. Tolerance. Tolerance refers to the body's decreased response to a substance over time. This happens because the brain adapts to the excessive dopamine stimulation by reducing the number of dopamine receptors or their sensitivity. This makes us less responsive to natural rewards and more dependent on artificial ones. Withdrawal. Withdrawals are referred to as the unpleasant physical and psychological symptoms that we experience when we stop using the substance or engaging in the behavior. This happens because the brain becomes used to the high levels of dopamine. When these levels drop, we become distressed. Craving. Craving refers to the intense desire or urge to use a substance again. This can be triggered by a variety of cues, such as seeing someone smoking, or internal triggers like stress or anxiety. They can be very difficult to resist and can often lead to relapse even after long periods of abstinence. Fortunately, with the right support and resources, addiction can be overcome. There are various treatment options available depending on needs and preferences like detoxification, medication, counseling, and rehabilitation. What we need to keep in mind is that recovery is a lifelong process that requires commitment, perseverance, and support, and it all begins with a choice. Thank you for watching. If you found our video informative and helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos on such topics. See you next time.